the Redmi Note 13. Now at first glance it looks like nothing much has changed coming from the Note 12 since Xiaomi has actually repeated the same processor. But some might disagree with you because it brings a more refined design with slimmer bezels, brighter display, an on-screen fingerprint scanner, improved cameras, and I think that's all. Personally, I don't think this was targeted at the Note 12 users, but we're going to see just how recommendable the Redmi Note 13 is as a budget device. Last year, Xiaomi did something great with the Note 12 when they offered it at a price point well below the competition, the likes of Samsung's Galaxy A14. This year, however, it is coming at a price point slightly above the competition. The Redmi Note 13 has a starting price of about 208,500 Naira, or somewhere between $160 to $170. Before you complain about its slightly higher pricing, it might interest you to know that this time, we're getting 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage for the base version. Its predecessor had 4 gigs of RAM and half the storage capacity for its base version, so the price increase is probably justified, and it still sits as a top contender with closely priced devices. I've had this since like a week before the global launch, so I'd say I've used it long enough to experience most of what it has to offer, and I'll be pretty much giving this review based on my experience and whether it is good value for money. Xiaomi remains one of the very few brands still loyal to their customers in terms of leaving accessories in the box of their devices, thankfully. So there's an unboxing experience for you. While that experience remains mostly the same, you'll notice they've replaced the transparent protective casing with a matte black one, which sort of hides the beauty of the device, but I'll say it's more functional. It won't discolor over time like the previous one. So yay or nay? Build quality wise, nothing much has changed. The Note 13 still uses mostly the same combination of build materials, Gorilla Glass 3 on the display and a plastic back. But design wise, much has changed. It has a more refined design and a lot better than the Note 12, which in my opinion was neither here nor there with its design. The camera bump has been removed, so the camera rings sit nice on the back of the device. Note that there is a Redmi Note 13 5G which looks different in design from this and is sadly not available for this region. Now, still on its build quality, there is an improvement to the level of splash resistance with IP54, which still doesn't mean water resistance, so don't go dipping it intentionally in any liquids. For colors, there's a black, green, and ice blue option for this region. I've not seen the fourth color around these parts. They all have a glossy finish, so it's smudge festival unless you have the case on it always. The display of the Redmi Note 13 is another area where we see solid improvements. At first glance, the screen to body ratio is better, so slimmer bezels all round. Peak brightness also goes as high as 1800 nits, easily the brightest you will find on any phone around its price. The fingerprint scanner has also been moved to the display, something I believe most have been demanding since they moved to AMOLED for the Note series. It might not be as fast as a side-mounted one, but it's the stuff for premium devices, and I like this improvement. It is still a vibrant 6.67 inches display, which I can say is overall the best package around its price. I'm referring to the slimmer bezels, 120Hz refresh rate, AMOLED, punch hole, and not water drop on U-notch like a popular brand. No names mentioned. You get the gist, it's a nice display overall. The 120Hz refresh rate gives much better experience than I remember with the Note 12. If you watch my review, I complained it wasn't as smooth as you'd expect for a 120Hz display, but I can confirm it's a lot better here. Using the device for the first time, you might immediately notice it's not at 120Hz as the default is 60Hz, so you might want to set that up first. If you love your devices having stereo speakers, Xiaomi has added that to the Note 13 as well. The sound from its speakers is great, not the best at this price point, but it comes close. One complaint you might have about this device is the fact that it has launched with MIUI and Android 13 instead of HyperOS, and we don't exactly know Xiaomi to be swiftest with OS upgrades, but I'm certain we'll see HyperOS and Android 14 in due time. We already know MIUI and what to expect from it. While it comes pre-installed with a ton of bloatware applications, it is not lacking in terms of features, and it's still a lovely UI. It has been completely bug-free in my experience so far. Now that I think of it, of all the smartphones in its price category, only Samsung's Galaxy A15 is currently on Android 14. Not sure if that's enough justification for Redmi, but we patiently await. Using this device day to day, it has been satisfactory. I had my SIM in it for a while and I can confirm the call quality is great, and it also supports VoLTE as long as your network provider allows it. I like that we get a base storage of 6 gigs of RAM here, so you don't really have to worry about not having second space. Floating windows is present for easy multitasking, however, split screen is absent. Now let's talk about Redmi's choice to repeat the Snapdragon 685 from last year's device. I think it's an okay choice. It's a decent Snapdragon processor, still fit for this price point. The only other route I think they could have gone if they wanted to stick with Snapdragon is opting for the 695, which is 5G enabled, and that would have made the device costlier. Other smartphones around this price point have a Helio G99 from MediaTek, which is actually a better processor, but I'm pretty sure those who have no love for MediaTek will gladly opt for this one. If you're getting the Redmi Note 13 with the intention of having it handle some gaming, it will do that well on low to medium graphics settings with no worries about major lags or inconsistencies with gaming performance. I was able to play Call of Duty Mobile on medium graphics and medium frame rate settings. You can go as high as very high graphics with medium frame rates. You can only play at high frame rate if the graphics quality is set to low. That's a bit of a letdown as other devices at this price point can handle medium graphics and high frame rate at the same time. But this also gets the edge being able to reach higher graphics settings, so it's in your favor if you actually prioritize graphics over frame rates. With PUBG Mobile, you get no more than balanced graphics and medium frame rates. There's no HD, and just like with Call of Duty, you need to play at the lowest graphics setting to unlock high frame rate. But at this price point, there are other phones with much better performance with PUBG if that happens to be your favorite FPS game. To be clear, the overall gaming performance is okay in terms of graphics depending on the game. Not so great for frame rate options, but heat management is great. If you like FPS games, it plays Call of Duty much better than it will play PUBG. For its battery life, I have no complaints. It gives you the performance you can expect from a 5000 mAh battery, and it charges fast at 33 watts with included charger in the box. The cameras on the Redmi Note 13 is one area where it has seen major upgrades. We now have a 108 megapixel main camera and an improved 16 megapixel selfie camera. You should find the results from the rear cameras impressive in different lighting conditions. However, this shoots in 12 megapixel by default, and you'll need to enable a 108 megapixel mode to get the high-res photos, which is more detailed but takes some time to process and is only recommended to use in the best lighting conditions. If you're a point and shoot person, however, you have no problems getting satisfactory results using the default mode. The selfie camera also takes great photos as long as you maintain good lighting conditions. Under conditions I'd say it's less than ideal, the selfie images are not consistent, so you might want to stick with the best available lighting. Like most phones at this price point, you get no more than 1080p 30fps video recording here, no proper stabilization. While my expectations were not high for its video performance when it comes to indoor lighting, I'd say it managed to hold up well. For a budget device, the Redmi Note 13 is a solid one. It might not be a major upgrade from the Note 12, but it's definitely a better device and one of the good options to consider at this price point. Hopefully Android 14 and HyperOS will come soon and with no issues. If you wish to see a comparison with Samsung's A15 and Tecno's Spark 20 Pro, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because that will be my next video.